this, right? The Atomic BF MFT, my monster of a workbench inspired by the Festool MFT, but upsized and re-engineered to handle full sheet goods, endless clamping setups, and just about anything else I throw at it. It took off. I built a few for friends, and hundreds of folks have built their own since. It's easily the most productive thing I've ever put together. But woodworking? That's just a fun little side gig for me. My real obsession is traditional hot rods and vintage Porsche race cars. And while the BF MFT doubles nicely as a mechanic's bench, I've been wanting something smaller, something mobile, something I could roll right up to the car without it getting in the way. So I built this, the Atomic SMC. I filmed the entire build process, but as I sat down to edit, I realized it was just a miniaturized version of the BF MFT build. Same DNA, same build techniques. So instead of walking you through every bolt, I figured I'd focus on what makes this little bench unique. First off, the size. It's 36 inches wide, 17 inches deep, and the height matches the BF MFT, exactly 35 and 3/16 inches. I landed on this form factor after a year of testing a hastily thrown together prototype. It's narrow enough to fit between open doors and quarter panels on most cars, but still offers enough square footage to actually work on. It's been great, compact but capable. Let's talk about mobility. The 4-inch casters were liberated from a hospital gurney. They roll over power cords, hoses, stray bolts, no hesitation, no drama. Probably overkill, definitely worth it. Quick break from my voiceover and my script and all that to go over the drawers. You'll notice I use the same pulls and drawer faces that I used on the BF MFT, and I like the way they look, and I like the way they work with the 80/20 profile. But these drawers, I do some tool storage, but for the most part they're reserved for a bin system that I'm really into, and it's called Gridfinity. If you haven't heard about it, it's a drawer liner that you 3D print. That's a grid. And then you 3D print some bins as well. And these bins have the grid embedded into the bottom so that they register on the base and they don't move anywhere. So what I use this for is, if you're working on a project, let's say rebuilding a carburetor or, setting your timing or what have you, a lot of times you'll end up with lots of little parts, nuts, bolts, hardware, that kind of thing. And if you're anything like me, you don't finish the project in a day. You got to put your stuff up. You got to stay organized. And so this just helps me do that. At the end of the day, I can put all of my parts and hardware up, put them in the grid, they stay organized, and I can put it away and it still looks clean and functional. And I don't know, it's just the ADD in me, I guess. But I do some tool storage in this, and I haven't really gotten that nailed down yet. I want to use it for about 6 months and see which tools I really want to keep in it. For now, I'm just got some basics, and this is all going to change eventually. But again, using Gridfinity, you can really get your tools cleaned up and organized and easy to get to and easy to put away, know what you're missing, that kind of thing. And the rest of the drawers are basically reserved for accoutrement, if you will, for the bench. And we'll go over those here in a minute. But first, you'll notice one drawer is missing. That's where the power center lives. At its core is a Milwaukee M18 inverter powered by a 3D printed battery relocation kit mounted on the side of the bench. That power flows to multiple outlets around the bench and powers a USB-C task light as well as an iPad mount. Why? I guess I got tired of dragging extension cords across the shop just to fire up something like a soldering iron. Also, I had an extra sheet of aluminum plate sitting around and needed an excuse to use it. Toss in some 3D printed grommets, a chopped up extension cord, and you have a reasonably professional power setup. So far, the HD 12.0 battery lasts me a full day, no sweat, often longer than that. I mean, this thing started as sort of a novelty, right? And it's kind of quickly proven its value. This is really nice to have. A quick explanation about the top. Originally, when I designed this, I wanted to use a 1/2-inch aluminum plate for the top itself. But between the time of me designing this bench and actually building it, the price of aluminum went nuts. So as you might imagine, I gave up on that idea. But a friend of a friend has a skateboard factory, and he had some 1/2-inch hickory plywood, which I've never seen or used before. It's crazy hard. I mean, I did some serious burning cutting it, and it seems to be working out fine. I did laminate some 3/4-inch ply to the bottom and then use my CNC to create a lip for it to sit in the 80/20 because I couldn't go any thicker than 1/2 inch or I would mess up the overall height of the bench. But so far it's been good. It doesn't bounce like you would think it would at 1/2-inch ply, and I've hammered on it pretty good and haven't had an issue. I do, however, if aluminum ever comes down, I'm going to get some because I think it would be great, and I also think it would look awesome. Vanity. Now for accessories. I rely on PDF service manuals for most of my Porsche work, so I built an iPad mount. It's just a cheap aluminum desktop stand off Amazon that I bolted to the 80/20 rail, but it's been surprisingly useful. Keeps the manuals nearby without eating up too much surface space on the bench. For lighting, I repurposed an old mic stand. It already had the 1/4-20 thread on the business end, so I slapped on a USB-C video light. Fully adjustable, position, brightness, color temp, and it runs off its own battery, which I can top off with the M18 system whenever I need. And then there's this, an early VersaVice, sent to me by a Garage Journal user. It's light duty, but insanely versatile. Perfect third-hand tool. And when I'm done, it slips right off its base and into a drawer. Of course, the iPad stand, as well as the light, stow away as well. The point of this is twofold. First, ridding of the protrusions allow the bench to be used as an outfeed or secondary table to both my table saw and my BF MFT. And secondly, the cleanly collapsed bench allows me to take advantage of wasted space under my, well, far too deep wall-located workbenches. And that's it. That's the Atomic SMC workbench. I've been using it about a month and a half now, I think, and really, really enjoying it. I think altogether, not including the Milwaukee battery, of course, I have $317 in materials. And I don't know, you can get a pretty nice mechanics cart for that, but this is built for my exact use case. And honestly, I can't imagine it being any better. I would build it again, knowing the budget. And yeah, if you have any questions or want plans or anything like that, reach out on the Garage Journal. I'll hook you up. I haven't put all that together yet, but I will. And we'll catch you next time where we will cover a laser. Someone gave me a laser, man. Crazy. All right, catch y'all next time.